I wanted to file a patent on the identification of this protein, and the university intellectual property office told me that they did not have the resources to help someone to start a company or to commercialize the technology, then that I would have to start my own company in order to do that. And then they would help, but I would have to start my own company. I had no business experience whatsoever, so I called a couple of friends of mine that did have a little business ability, and we then started COARE. So we started really blind leading the blind, but that's where we are, and that's what got me into this academic entrepreneurship. Traveling to scientific meetings over the years, from fellowship all the way to faculty, and presenting at national meetings for cancer and gastroenterology and things like that, I began to recognize that all of the big, quote, famous scientists that were doing real, exciting, novel research, they always disclosed afterwards, so sometimes before, but mostly afterwards, that they also had their own companies. And I began to inquire about that, and then I realized that anytime you publish novel, exciting new research, usually that means you're eligible to file a patent on those discoveries. And when I realized that anytime you're doing real, exciting research, you need to file a patent, that's what I did when I came to Oklahoma. That's the first thing I did. And after I filed a few patents on the research we were doing, then I realized a patent means nothing unless you can commercialize the technology. So that's how I really fell into this field. The government, the National Cancer Institute in particular, provides these research awards called Small Business Innovative Research Rewards. And they allow you to obtain funding to do what's called applied research. So in my academic lab, I do hypothesis-driven, scientific, mechanism of action-driven research. However, on the business side, you do applied research. So that applied research is fundamentally different than laboratory, university-based research, but it allows you to obtain additional funding sources so that you can do the project from both sides, especially if you have a research project that could end up in the development of a technology or drug or biomarker or something that could be commercialized. So this type of research allows you the extra source of funding. Now, as far as the difficulty is, they're almost opposite research methods. So in one type of research, you have to test something. And in the other type of research, the hypothesis-driven research, you have to find out about something, discover something. So there are two different really types of research, and you have to be able to juggle your mind between both types of research in order to do this. We looked for partners based on that hypothesis, and the partners said, "Are you crazy? There's no way we're going to do this without any data." Right? So then we began to develop agents to target these cancer stem cells, and again, we didn't have any funding sources, so we applied for a grant called an IRS QTDP grant, which came out at the beginning of the Obama administration. And it was the IRS was sponsoring a program for companies that had an idea to cure cancer. So it was a very competitive award, but we ended up being one of the companies that got one for $250,000. And that was able to start our entire company. We tried to find investors, but we couldn't. So then we decided to apply for a phase 1 SBIR grant. We didn't get it, but we got a score. And then subsequently, eventually we got 1. And then we got 2. And then we got 3. so that was able to, we realized that was able to sustain our research program until we could get funding. We still have not got investor funding, but we have gotten bigger grants. So we have phase 2 SBIR grant, and we have 2 fast track SBIR grants, which are combined phase 1 and phase 2. So we are living off of those grants right now until we can find investors to take us to the next level. But that's really where we are as a company.